All right, welcome back. I'm Alan. Welcome to School of Fabco 806. I'm working on a 1958 F100. If y'all been following me, y'all see that I put it on a 2003 F150, and I've been gone for a little bit. I went out and did a chop class out in Copen, Oklahoma with Top Cat Customs. Thank you, Gino Walker. Super awesome dude, super awesome shop, doing some crazy awesome fab work out there. So back on this, I lifted it up a little bit. It was too low. I told you I've got things in the future that I want to do. We've got plans that we are not letting out the bag yet, so I kind of want to stick to that if I can, but I am going to drop it a little bit because you can see a lot of the frame. I know normally it's cool, but I'm just going to drop it enough to give me room for what I need to do in the future. And I will definitely let y'all know because we're doing it to this truck. So today, once I get it down where I want it, where it lets me, it's just a bunch of measuring, getting it square. I'll build some braces, start locking it into place, and then weld it up as solid as we can, and then maybe cut these welds off and open our doors and see if nothing springs back at us too much. All right, before I jack this up, I'm gonna measure one last time just to remember this number so I don't just jack it up and start guessing. It's 33 and a half, and I want to drop it 2 inches, so I need it at 31 and a half. So I need to drop it, say I'm at 5. I'm just at 3. So let me measure real quick. That's 2. That is, ooh, that's 2 7/8. That's a hard one to, I'm just gonna stick with that and see what happens. Down we are. All right. Now we got it down, took the hood off. Let's measure again. 31 and a quarter to the center of the chrome, right under the screw. Let's go to this side. And it is 31 and 3/8. So we've got to come down about a ½ inch, I believe. 31 and a half. That's all it was, just adjusting the jack stand. 31 and a half to there. 31 and a half to there. Now let's lower the rear. All right, so now we're at the back, the rear of the vehicle. If you notice, it has no rocker, so it's kind of hard to like measure, right? We could try to measure to the door. It's a little funky because it curves. So we say, okay, let's use our cab corner. Well, wait a minute, we don't have a cab corner. So what I normally do in a situation like this is I'll measure from the floor and I'll just pick a number. I'll say 32 right here, roughly. And I'll just bring it down to where it measures to 30. And then, oh, man, I was way off. Hold on. 32. Just to note, kind of keep an idea on the floor of where you marked it. I put me a little line down there just so I know. I'll measure from that line to this line, and when it hits 30, I know I'll be there. So it's gonna take me a minute because I'm just gonna, do it the old-fashioned way and just turn this until it drops down to 30. So, oh, you know what? I'll get my measuring. I'll get my straight edge, and I'll set it right here. That way it'll be easier, and I won't have to be yo-yoing with my tape measure. Okay, so I'm down here, and basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this. I'm going to put my straight edge flat under the frame, and all I want to know is around about how much lower is the frame to the door. And right now we're about 4 inches, roughly about 4 inches underneath the door, plus the rocker. So minus another, looks like an inch and a half. So we're about 2.5 inches under the body. I might drop it a little bit more and just make it a solid 2 inches. That way, 2 inches ain't bad if we slam it ever, which I doubt it. My wife hates slam vehicles because she has to drive slow, but it's all good. I don't know. We'll see. 2 inches ain't bad. All right, so now I've got it sitting very nice. I've only got a 2-inch gap, or the frame hangs down 2 inches below, say, the rocker. So let's just pretend it had a rocker, and if it did, the frame will be 2 inches under it, which is not a big deal. Like I said, we're never gonna slam it per se. So now my next deal, I moved it back some more. I moved it back about a 1/2 inch because if you look down here, my original radiator support off the 2003 F150 is right here, and the one off of the 58 radiator support is right here. So it's so close together. My original thought was to weld this to this. So it's just stuck in my head. It won't leave, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to weld that to that. That way that's done, and it can't be undone. So basically all I did was I pushed it back as far as I could. Like I said, I moved back about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit less. And then I moved it from left to right, and I centered it using my radiator support brackets, or my radiator brackets on my radiator support. And I've got an even gap, probably about a 1/2 inch on each side of, in between the frame and the outer radiator bracket, the original radiator bracket, because the original radiator bracket went here. Mine's going to go here. So I might later attach this to this, make it look like it came that way. I'm not too sure if I will or not, but it's an idea, just to hold it into place. So now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to drill a couple of holes right here, try to draw the radiator support into the other radiator support, and see if I can get it to close so I can start welding that thing together, making this thing into one. Just like that. All right, so now I've readjusted it. I double checked my measurement. We're still at 31.5 to the mid center of this chrome. right underneath the hardware. Now I'm gonna drill a couple 1/8" holes, maybe put a couple of clecos in there to hold my piece in place. We're going for it. There's no going back, you know, now. So I'll double check to make sure that I am where I need to be to drill this hole. And I will drill my first hole. Oh shoot, no. Try it like that. Okay, well, like everything else, nothing's easy, so you know what I'm doing. You know what's going on. The battery's too big. Let me get a smaller one. A little bit. I can't see. All right, now that our measurement is good and I have double, triple, quadruple measured up here, I screwed my old radiator support to the newer radiator support, and now all I'm gonna do is just tack it in place, start tacking everything into place and double checking my measurements, make sure everything looks good. So far so good. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. All right, real quick, just want to talk about my setup. I've got a Hobart 135, it's just a 110 volt. I've had this machine for, oh Lord, almost 20 years. When I did buy it brand new, I did send it in to Air Gas and they tuned it for sheet metal. What I use mostly is 030 and 100% CO2 when I'm doing sheet metal. What I like about the 100% CO2 is that you're able to really weld and penetrate through the sheet metal and not really pop through it. So when you have 75-25, if you don't be super careful, not really good with the machine, you'll just keep popping holes to that sheet metal. So the argon just burns a little bit hotter. So when you have straight CO2, it doesn't burn as hot. So just to show you my little setup, everything's different. And the bottom I'm running 75-25. That's what I'm using right now to do these welds because I need a little bit heavier weld. I need it to penetrate a little bit, deeper and really, really grab on because this is my body that's going to be sitting on that floor, so I need it to not fall off. That'd be cool. Okay, so I'm gonna measure from above the wiper, where the wiper hole is, and I've got 43.5. We'll go by this little line right here. And then I come to this side, right above the wiper hole, come down, and what do we have? Look at that, 43.5. So, man, I think it's looking great. So I'm gonna call it a baby success up front because it's not all welded in, it's tacked in, but everything is measuring out. So it'll be a full success or adult success once it's all welded in and we're able to unbolt the entire thing off. All this will be able to unbolt through the newer Ford radiator support. So I think it's neat that it still be able to come apart. After that, I've checked that. Now all I got to do is measure the rear, get it squared up, and I've already got some 1-inch square tubing that I'm going to use to brace my stuff in place so it doesn't move. So I think that's going to be it for now. I'd like to thank all y'all for joining me. Please follow, like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell. Once again, thank you, Oklahoma. Had a great time out there. Thank you, Gino. If anyone else is interested in a chop class, I'm gonna leave my email down there. I'd be willing to come out to your shop, man, and let's cut something up. Thank you.